Hello, everyone. Okay. Well, anyways, I'm just gonna get started here. Hey, what's up, Tim? How you doing? So, it's typical Saturday live stream. Of course, I was off last week. Y'all go check out Tim's channel. What Tim is doing is he works with the paranormal groups a lot, and he goes in and takes information that he finds that he can hear in the streams, and does the people a favor because they're so busy all the time by listening, and put what he hears and with their permission and re-uploads it, which can be very helpful when they're really busy. So yeah, check that out. Um, Anyways, so obviously we had the Earth Sounds video. And I noticed something interesting in that Earth Sounds video. It also says it was the day before an earthquake. And what's interesting about that is Tim and I were talking in a group this last week about weather control, energy control. Yeah, no problem, Tim. You do a great job. So, people need to know that. If you can have any place you want to share this around, that would be helpful too. Um, if you're going to be doing live streams, I need to get you hooked up into the We Are Live group so that you could share this link in there, but also share your own if you actually go live and do a single you one-on-one chat or live hangouts. But I'll get you plugged in there and get you set up as an admin. Um, so what I was going to say about that is, obviously, if you guys listen to the videos links that I put in the description and in the upper comment, the first two, they definitely sound like Earth sounds, but it was like almost like there was a puncture in the atmosphere. And supposedly, the way this HARP energy or weather control programs work that cause earthquakes or whatever is they're sending out high frequency that hits up on the ionosphere. And the day before, as they're ramping this thing up, people hear strange noises, hear these sounds, and see these rainbows, like the video I sent you, Tim. Um, and it could be very well that they punched a hole through the atmosphere, either from space or bouncing up around there, and then there was a large East Coast earthquake or earthquake somewhere. Um, a lot of people don't know this. Back in the CB radio days, you'd use atmospheric skip, and sometimes you could be at a little home base station that's only supposed to reach out 50 miles, and you can end up talking to people around the globe because of that atmospheric skip and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm sure you can remember some of that stuff. Not a lot of people know about CB radios nowadays, but it'd be pretty cool. You could, way before cell phone days, you might potentially be able to talk to some trucker down in Florida. So um, basically, there's some things going on in my life I need to talk about. I'm not one to usually ask people straight up for donations, but my car's shot. Um, hey, what's up, Alex? I was telling everybody to check out Tim's channel earlier, but I'll also check out Alex's channel. Uh, Both of them. He's got Spectral Wolfpack Paranormal and Bigfoot Bob, and he's been instrumental in helping me get going with my channel. And we have an upcoming collaboration. Forget the name of Tim's. I think it might just be his name. Tim, can you type the name of your channel? Because I don't remember if you named it something else, but I'd like to give you a shout out on that if I can see it. But we were just talking about the last video I did. I put some links in there. One of the links said at that baseball game it was the day before a major earthquake. Hey, Sams. So we were talking about how there's HARP energy. Could be possible that they were pushing some energy up against the upper atmosphere. It may have punched a hole and then reflected some down in and vibrated the faults, causing an earthquake. And maybe that hole punch is what made it to where people could hear those space Earth vortex type sounds, because maybe it put a gap or a hole up there, or either that or was being transmitted from satellite. But what I was getting into is right now, like I said, I'm not one to really ask for donations or anything, but my car is completely shot. Um, I'm stressed out about that. Fix some stuff on it, and so if anybody is interested in helping out with that, I'm not going to set up a GoFundMe or anything, but I do have in all the links and descriptions my PayPal, and like Eric, Alex, everybody, I have Messenger Pay. Um, if anybody wants to help out with that, I mean, if they type in for car, I could help pay them back. I mean, seriously, whatever, if nobody can, I understand too. We're all tight, and if somebody was asking me right now, I couldn't do anything, so I get it. And that's not really what the channel's about. It just right now I'm rocking a hard place. So, anyways, going forward, I don't want to put too much out there, but basically, um, be careful, Sam's. Listening's fine. Don't be watching. But basically, Martin, as you know, I talked about a live stream, but I haven't come out with a main video yet. Martin's discovered a giant, but not just one giant. I just want to give you guys an update. When I first saw that giant, the first thing that popped in my head was infant. Even though the thing's like 26 feet, the shape of the head was either purposely elongated or it was a shape of a smaller child, okay? Because of the elongation and the way it was. To me, it just didn't look like a well formed adult skull. Either that or the way it was crushed under the ice. Now, originally he was going with, oh, these were in a battle, and he was looking for battle axes and helmets. And I'm like, dude, I don't think so. I think that what happened was the flood happened. Either they washed out the hollow earth or they were on the surface and they drowned. Well, he's finding other stuff along with it. One of the things he found was an adult giant. Now, the teeth of this baby one, let's say the baby one, are as big as your hand. Um, but the one that he found that's right next to it and maybe is holding the hand of the smaller infant or juvenile one, the teeth are bigger than his size 13 boot. So we're talking like a 50, 60 foot, maybe even more, up closer to 100-foot giant next to that one. Some more. He's had some people interested in coming out, but they're also actually finding some giants, according to him, in Ohio, up to 3,000 different partial skeletons. So it's getting out there. So people that, yeah, you too, Alex, be careful. And this is bad timing. It's the world's biggest ghost hunt today. So yeah, I just do my Saturday live stream. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hey, John, how's it going? So to recap for John, we were talking about a few things. First off, in the last teaching video I had, basically, there was Earth sounds, and then there was sounds at a baseball game that just sounded exactly like Earth. I linked that together in like 2013. I had just happened to see the strange sounds, remembered they sounded like Earth, and so when I was looking in that caption of that title, it said there was day before big earthquake. A lot of times when we see earthquakes, we see rainbows in the ionosphere and the atmospheric river up at the top. And that's atypical. And a lot of people think it's because they're shooting either from the ground from these HARP energy devices, which are all over the globe. Big one is up in Alaska, but there's a lot more. They shoot this energy up, it bounces off and does atmospheric skip, comes down, and either they push it ahead of a storm to guide where storms go directionally, or that high frequency goes back down and hits a fault line, triggering earthquakes and potential tsunamis. Which there was one in Indonesia the other day. We're having typhoons and hurricanes taking these weird directions. There's a Pacific hurricane, which I didn't even know the coastal Pacific had them, but they usually right up the California coast. But they're coming out in the news and saying it's definitely going to take this weird turn and go up through Arizona and flash flooding, and there's going to be all kinds of problems down there. Now, how do they know for sure that it's going to take that turn? I mean, is it that they're going to guide the storm, or is it because there's some, low pressure and high pressure, and they just know it's going to go that way? But it remains to be seen. It's going to be coming up by California to the southwest of Arizona, heading towards the northeast, is what they said. This is according to Mr. MBB 333 or whatever. And then also again, my car's not running great. I'm stressed out about that. Um, so if anybody wants to help out, that's in there. Um, and then so here's where we're at, John. Is basically I was talking to Martin. He had some people interested in his giants. If you didn't catch that live stream, and again, there was like an infant-sized giant, but it's like 26 feet when we're talking about an infant or juvenile. And my guess with that originally was the shape of the head, the pudginess of the arms, just the shape of everything to me looked kind of like juvenile, kind of barrel-chested. Well, those teeth on that are about as big as your fist, but he found more teeth not too far from there in another giant, and the teeth are bigger than his size 13 boot. I mean, they're massive. They're about a foot and a half long, about 6 inches wide, and we're still trying to get him an interview and push it forward and all that stuff. He's had some other people that are interested in coming out and taking a look at it, but they're so wrapped up in their own projects, they're finding giants. And with this petrified flesh, it seems like there's a race to be the first to unearth a giant and get it out there in the public. I think people are really starting to pick up on Roger's work, and with so many people interested in it. But as far as I know, Martin's like the first to get anything out in public. He's just a solo guy, and he is still needing help. So we're trying to get him an interview. I may help him out on that interview. And I've got a buddy, Stefan Sindoni, looking into whether he can get him one or whatever, supposedly through this Max Steel channel or something like that. So, no. And I'm not going to mention what you just typed, and I'd ask you to retract that. But I'll tell you why. The reason is that particular place was built to house anything that they would find artifact-wise at the South Pole. And have you ever seen this artifact from the South Pole? No. They take everything that they can get their hands on, they scoop it up, and it disappears. So you can't call those particular places. So, hello, hi. Hopefully you can go back and watch over this Big Mama's Paranormal. Um, but I was getting pretty close to wrapping up here. Um, does anybody have any questions about the previous videos, the more recent ones, or anything? Any of my past videos before I do? See if anybody has any questions or anything. But yeah, the reason I haven't had a big overall video come out on that yet is still we have to keep it low key until we can get the interview, get a lot of people interested, and then we can go and do a lot more on it. But anyways, I appreciate everybody coming in. Rewatch this whole thing, and I look forward to next week. I think I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, and I'm going to actually do some work on. If you watch video 3, I talk about matter, space, and energy, and hint off about life outside of bodies. And I'm going to go back to that and talk about evidence that's out there of people who have had near-death experiences, and what existence is all about, why people are in matter existence, and explain that a little bit more in detail, which will help a lot of people that are doing paranormal understand things a little bit better, I think. So take a little break from everything and talked about something that really interests me. Not that the other stuff doesn't interest me, but I think this is something that needs to come out timing wise. And something I'm kind of excited to share about. So, anyways, thanks to everybody for coming in. Peace, appreciate it, stars. And you all have a wonderful day. I appreciate it. Thank you. And oh, looks like John sent me something over on my Facebook Messenger. I really appreciate that. That'll really help out with the car right now and takes a little bit of stress off of my situation. So you all have a great day. Earth sound, it sounded like I thought it would, and empty and lifeless, but cool. Okay. Yeah, I see that, Sam's. Yeah, thank you very much, John. I appreciate it. Don't worry, Tim. I mean, like I said, I feel bad even asking, but basically, yeah, I'm in one of those corners right now. I'm supposed to get an emissions test, and I fixed a part on it, and fixing it fixed my vacuum problem, but made it to where the car is just barely running now, because I think the way it was running was the fuel pressure regulator plenum burst, which was pumping fuel into the intake, and that's how I was getting more fuel in there. But now that that's fixed, not enough fuel is getting to the fuel injectors or the intake, so something's clogged. Something's not working right. So either I have clogged fuel injectors, or who knows, something's not working right. So I got to get to the bottom of it, and it's just, $30 for this, $20 for that, 115 for that, and I'm just like going, I can't do it all. So I appreciate everybody. So take care, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Peace, everyone.